Okay, so we're starting the shir today. Parshas Matos Masai. Torah Zayin, Likutey Moharan, Tanina, the second Pelek. So, as we said, that the Parnasa comes from the Malchus. Oh, man. The Parnasa comes from the Malchus. Anybody that has to give Parnasa, who is in charge of giving Parnasa, of sustaining, has to have a medical of authority, of Malchus, of, you know. So, and it says, same way, thank you very much. Is the sugar in there?
Sweet enough.
Yeah. You know, sweet enough. You know, he tells he basically Mr. tells me I didn't put sugar. You know, it's like what? Yeah.
I didn't realize you were doing a food after the fast. I was so out of it. I didn't see email every last week.
Oh, he wasn't on Suda. It was his wife can know how to prepare the whole Suda. Yeah, I meant like through Ogalach. Like
that was here too.
That was there too, but his wife made like a whole tish Kananahara. Anyhow, so we explained that the reason why the rotzing, that when people eat properly, the kashrus, the kedusha, that they can get immense retzoinus, immense wills and urge, cheshek to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Why does it happen dafka during the time of eating? Yes, Tanina Zayin. So the reason why, because when the parnasa comes from the malchus, you have to have a little authority, a little oomph to be a mensch, not to be a shlenalvo, or not to be a. And the same thing, everybody has to give more and more people, more and more parnasa. He has to have more authority, more, power to call the shots. Because we explained that the malchus, what does it get parnasa? Malchus is just part of the mechanism that gives it away. Where does it get it from? It gets it from oilam hakeser, from or opponent, and from there it comes through the yadayim shabiyam chachma, the hands, which exist within the shkoyach, in the sea of wisdom. So the wisdom is the chachma of the chacham, of the sage, of the rabbi. That his chachma, he's letting out his chachma, he's telling people, he's teaching. And there are certain things that he does not say, certain things that he does not reveal, because we said we're not allowed to reveal everything. And we already went, through the reasons why at great length. But what he does do is that he hints at all those things that he cannot actually explicitly talk about. And this is the term of Yadayim Shalom Chachma, the hands that in the sea of wisdom. Sea of wisdom is what the Chacham says. But with his speech, he's also giving hints and alludes to things beyond that. And this is called Yadayim Shalom Chachma. Why it's called Dafka hands? But when you notice when a person speaks, he speaks, and with his hands, he is enhancing whatever it is he's saying, and he's hinting and alluding to things that the words themselves cannot contain. This is the Yadayim. Now the Yadayim, they give also this is received from the Kesser. Also, the Yadayim is also another tool, the very same way that the Kesser and the Das are parallel bechinos. I said the Kesser is beyond the Oilimus. It's a promise of that the whole thing is going to be. And so you have to do something, to bring it down to, some kind of a reality. Same thing once already in the Pochna, or in the Da, in the Bina. Okay, now you have to bring it out to fruition, to actuality. The thing that brings out to fruition is also Yadayim. Yad Yamin and Yad Small. That's the Chesed, that's the Gvura. And then it goes, the pipe system, Chesed, Gvura, then the Tiferes, Netzach Hod in Yisod. And then it gives the Parnasa to the Malchus. The Malchus, that's the reservoir, that's the capacity to not just receive the Shefa, but also to distribute the Shefa in a proper way to each one. So, and we said that where does the Parnasa come in? Come from the Keser. The Keser is the level of the Rotzin, pure Rotzin. You call the Rotzin alien, the supernal will. Because Baruch Hu has for the world to exist, for the world to be sustained, and this Rotzin is pumped all the time. And this Rotzin is something that drives and propels and fuels everything. There's nothing that can be done without that turbocharging of Ratzon behind it. It can be, a willful Ratzon that you are aware of it. It could be a Ratzon that you're not aware of it. I mean, Kenan Hara, our bodies are working. We're not, we're not, mindful of what's going on in our bodies. But Kenan Hara, we breathe without even thinking about it. The heart is pumping without even thinking about it. And the digestion to digest without, and so forth and so on. The thing is, all this has to work. All this has to be driven. The minute it stops, chas v'chalila, the ratzon stops, everything decays. Everything, that's entropy. Everything breaks down. So what keeps it going? I mean, it's the happy chateva. The things should grow. The things should continue. The things should become born. This is entropy says, that chaos always comes after order, right? That order breaks down, becomes chaos. A glass which is on the table, it falls down, it shatters. Shards of glass never jump from the floor and become a cup on the table. I think that's what Newton's third law or something like that. Thermodynamics. It's a law. I mean, it's immutable law. That order always becomes before chaos. So what is the thing that drives it ahead? What is the thing that all the time brings order seemingly out of chaos? It's the Ratzin. Baruch Hu fills out, he pumps the Bria with Ritzoyus, with Ratzin all the time. And so all this, the Ratzin itself already creates this Parnos, it comes down, and finally gets to the Malchus. The Malchus comes out to a piece of cake or rogalot, or cup of tea with 1.5 sugars. Okay? Now the thing is that this is a result of the primordial Ratzin. It just, it finally came out and, here's a cup of tea. Thank you very much. So the Maisa, within that tea, there's shards of Ratzin, right? There's the tzaitzes of, it comes from Ratzin. So when a person consumes the tea or anything else, the kedusha, the way it's supposed to be, the Ratzin is released. Those tzaitzes are being released. And a person can be zoicha to an immense urges and kisufim to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when it says to the point that you don't even know what you want anymore. And it's like it's an overload on the systems. You only want to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Rebbe says, Lamaisa, that the main avodah of a Yid is the Ratzin.
What?
The main avodah of a Jew is to want to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He says the main thing is because when you consider what a Kodesh Baruch Hu is, as it were, who can put himself, the ranks and say, I'm serving Hashem? It's ridiculous. Kodesh Baruch Hu is Ensof, is infinity. That's what the Rabbeinu says, Sichas Haran. He says, what the Kodesh Baruch Hu is, who can say himself that he's serving Hashem? And he says, what the Torah is, who can say that he's learning Torah? That he knows Torah, that who can say that? The Torah is infinite, because Baruch is infinite, the Torah is infinite. Hashem Tov said, Torah Hashem Temimo, the Torah Baruch is complete, which means it wasn't even touched. With everything that we know, with everything, Pshat, Remesh, Dras, Sod, the Chumash, and all everything. We haven't even touched, begin the Torah. And says, so what? So the Rebbe says the main thing is we want. We want to learn. We want to serve Kodesh Baruch Hu. And it says, while wanting, we're sort of learning, we're sort of davening. That's what Rabbeinu says in the Sikha. So, the main thing is the want. So what do you need to do? Because if you don't do, you don't want. In other words, the proof is in the pudding. The fact that you want proves that you really want it. But the main thing is wanting it. If you're not doing it, it means you don't really want. You don't really want. Maybe you want to want. Maybe you want to want to want. But you don't really want. What's the proof you're not doing?
You're not doing, you don't want to want.
No. Want to want. See, the thing is, we spoke about it, in the level of wanting, you can have a lot of contradictory wishes. You can wish to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you can wish to go after the titles. No, you can't do both. You can wish for both. You can want both. In the level of wanting, you can want anything. You can want to be a millionaire. You can, whatever it is that you want, no problem. But the minute that you bring it into the Maisa, into the world of deed, then it's either or. I mean, it's contradiction. Either you do this or you do that. So, as we said, that when a person is doing properly, when is eating the kedusha, that the body is, we are angels machines. We make angels. The quality of our decisions create angels. We get the raw material, Elokus from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, through our food, through our breathing, and we eat it. And according to how much kedusha we're eating, this is how we process that neutral energy, as it were. And then we're creating a malach from the quality of our decision. That's what the Gemara says, Pirkei Avos. Anybody that does a mitzvah, is creating an advocate for himself. Anybody chas v'chalil does the opposite, is creating, a category, it's a prosecuting, a prosecutor. So that means that you're creating angels with everything that you do. And the thing is, okay, but this is something I don't see. I don't see an angel. I don't see myself doing whatever it is. But the point is that the entire avodah in this world is the avodah of birurim, that you are refining and you are purifying the mitzias, taking up the nitzos of the kedusha. Over here, we're saying that the parnasa itself stems from the rotzin. So within the parnasa, there is the status of the rotzin. If you eat properly, you're able to actually experience the primordial rotzin elyon, which is inside the food that you eat, and then wakes you up with tremendous urges and she'ifa to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the name of the game. This is what it's about. So when the Chacham, as we said, the main thing is dafka in the time of achila. That's why dafka in the time of eating, when the primordial rotzen actually comes to the final fruition, this is where it can be zeicher to an immense, drive to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it simply, you want the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to, quote unquote, you're dying for it. It's just like, because the entire Achila comes from the Makifin. It comes from the Kesed. It comes from beyond. Which say the entire Indian, this entire Indian is the thing that's being made up from combining Ben and Talmud, as we said before. We said before that when you combine the Metzias of a son and Metzias of a Talmud, in other words, the Akora of Ma and the Akora of Melo, the recognition that you haven't even started yet, and the recognition Kodesh Baruch Hu fills the entire land. You see HaKadosh Baruch Hu with everything. You dive into, you see the whole thing. At the same time, you haven't started yet. So they haven't started yet. This is the Sogo of a Ben, of a son. It's a very, very high Asana. You realize that everything you've done until today is still you haven't started yet. On the other hand, a person can be very, very low. He has to learn. The Chacham shows him that Kodesh Baruch Hu is with him and by him and wants him and loves him all the time. One is a Sogo of a Ben, the other is a Sogo of a Talmud. The main thing is to combine them both. That the son will have a Sogo of Melokal Arts Kavoided, Baruch Hu's with him. Because otherwise he'll see, I haven't started yet, I have no chance. No matter how much I will do, I will never get anywhere. So he has to get the shtickle illumination of Talmud. Baruch Hu is with you, he wants you, he loves you. Same thing also, that the Talmud, that no Kodesh Baruch Hu all the time with him, has to have no, the Kodesh Baruch Hu is that you also haven't started yet. You have to, okay, Baruch Hu is with you, but you really haven't started yet. Come on, wake up, start moving. You have to combine them both together. And we said the Yira is Malchus. That's why when the Chacham combines the Ben and Talmud together, that brings about the aura from the Makifin. This is the thing where it puts the plug, into the socket, and the entire mechanism starts to work. As it says, that sea is wide, and Rechav Yadayim, wide hands, wide-handed, as it were. Livyason Livyason, what we're calling Livyason is not really, what we're calling whale is not really Livyason. The Livyason we're talking about is that first of all, we're talking about this the fish that Kodesh Baruch Hu created, one male and one female, and Kodesh Baruch Hu killed the female and salted her for the tzaddik and loss of love. This is what Gemara says that Livyason, that Livyason is a kosher fish. We know that whales are not kosher fish. Okay, so but but Livyason, our pyramid is a whole different, is Prinas Malchus. Livyason ze yotzat asahagvos. Avinu says kacha. Livyason ze Prinas Malchus. Livyason alludes to the concept of Malchus. Alludes to the concept of Malchus. Yeah. כמו שכוסוב, לוויוסון נחש בריח, לוויוסון נחש אקלוסון. A levioson is a snake that connects both ends, and levioson is a serpentine snake. He says that Rashi says the Livyason Nachash Beriach, this is when the Novi speaks about the first king. It says, I'm gonna defy Kodesh Baruch Hu. That was Pari. This calls Livyason Nachash Beriach. The second one, Livyason Nachash Akalosain, a winding snake, that's another king. That's Nebuchadnezzar. There are two kings that said, we are going to do, because Baruch Hu wants this way, we're going to do the other way. So we said that the two times we've lost Livyason, right? One Livyason Nachash Bariach, one Livyason is Nachash HaKalosan.
What are the words you're saying?
Livyason, Nachash bariach. It's a snake that slams shut. Bariach. It's like the door lock, a locking snake. Whatever. Let's not get into. Ooh, wow. Shalom aleichem, baruch habo. Nahara. Sit down. We have plenty of popcorn for you. We kept it all the way since the time you left us. Yeah, we're nice guys. So we're saying here that two types of nachash. There's Livyoson Nachash Bariach, there's Livyoson Nachash Kalosim. Rashi says, what is it? What? Livyoson. Leviathan. Livyoson. Leviathan, big fish. Okay? So you have Livyoson, big fish, Nachash Bariach, Livyoson, big fish, Nachash Kalosim. So we have two.
Leviathan, like
Not a whale? Not a whale?
No, it's not. It's Lamaisa. When we're talking about in Sefer Yonos, it is a whale, but it's, whatever it is, the Yosef we're talking over here is a conceptual of the Yosef. It's not talking about a specific animal. So this now what the Navi says that the first king that spoke haughtily about HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Paro, right? Mi Hashem kishma b'koilo. Where's the HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Listen to him, right? We know what happened with him. That's the first king. He is represented by Livyoson Nachash Bariach. And then there's a second king. This is the second, I believe, is Sancheriv or Sancheriv. He was the grandson of Nebuchadnezzar. He used the Kever Beis Hamikdash. He used it for the feast, whatever it is. I'm so powerful. Because Baruch Hu cannot do anything to me.
Sancheriv was before Nebuchadnezzar. He's the one who.
No, I think it was
The
after.
army was wiped out by the Allah.
No, that's Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the temple.
Right. So Livyoson Nachash Bariach is Mitzrayim. Livyoson Nachash Kalosim is Asher, is Assyria. Okay. So what does a Livyoson refer to? The first one refers to the king of Egypt, and the second Livyoson refers to the king of Assyria. So what does Livyoson, the term Livyoson, refer to? A melech, right?
How is that?
I see glazed eyes.
Okay.
What? What do you
Where does it say Levasia on this mouth?
Rashi says that.
Rashi said
Rashi says that. On that pasuk, Rashi says the first Livyoson refers to Paro, the second one refers to Sancheriv.
Sancheriv didn't destroy them.
It doesn't matter. We're not talking about the second of the temple.
He captured the 10 tribes in the north, and then he came to Jerusalem, and they camped out, and the army was wiped out by the Melech. Hashem wiped them out.
He's the one that says, he sends Rav Shakeh and he says, who's the Kodesh Baruch Hu? He's not going to save you from me. You're right. So, but nevertheless, Livyoson refers to what? Kings. So from here you say Livyoson is a euphemism for Malchus. Okay? Livyoson yatzata zel sachak boi. So, v'zeh b'chinas Malchus. So now we know Livyoson yatzata, you create Livyoson l'sachak boi. What is l'sachak boi? I mean, when you read it, it seems like, to play with. But actually, the word l'sachak is the same letter of l'shachek, to grind. Lishchoik, to grind. Livyoson, the Malchus, ze yotzata l'shachek boy, to grind the Malchus. The Malchus from the Yadayim, from the Makifen, through the Klaus Ben and Talmud. Over there, again, a whole chunk of Parnasa. Now it has to be ground down and parceled out, each person according to his needs. So all this is performed in the Malchus, in that mechanism called Malchus. So Livyoson ze yotzar l'shachek. You created the Malchus to ground out this big chunk of parnasa, and parse it out, each one according to what he needs. There are 7 names for the heavens. One of them is Shchokim. Why it's called Shchokim? This is where man is being ground to tzaddikim, from a big chunk to Hainu Parnasa. Malchus Pchinas Leviosan, Mekabel Parnasa Min HaYadayim, Sheyesh B'Yam HaChochma, and Shezeh Pchinas Zeh Hayam Gadol U'Rechav Yadayim. That's the great sea of wide-handed. Shemagia Parnasa LaMalchus, when a Parnasa finally reaches that Malchus, that distribution center of the Malchus, this is where it is broken down, being ground down, to give itlet kol echad echad chelek parnasa l'fi lo, a parcel of parnasa according to what's coming to him. In other words, this is where you ground man for tzaddikim. Parnasa is pchinas man. Rabbeinu says, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam kol the parnasa b'chinas man, v'nishchekes v'nichteshet etzel b'chinas malchus, b'chinas leviosan, שבקר parnasa b'chinas ze hayom gadol chav yadayim, haim yadayim sheyesh b'yan hachokma she'em b'chinas remozim. You know that in the Midbar, we all ate manna from heaven. And amongst the many attributes of manna was the fact that each one, according to the quality of his meisim, according to his spiritual level, this is how close or how far he found the man. The tzaddikim found it right in front of their tents. It was ready to eat, like popcorn out of the bag, no problem. Now, when people were, left, room for improvement, right? So they found it further on. Plus, it needed to be cooked a little bit, needed to be fixed up a little bit, salted up a little bit, a little pepper, a little paprika, a little oregano, So man revealed to everybody, because Am Yisrael lived under such providential existence, that it was very easy to tell every person exactly where he was holding. Person who was a tzaddik, from the outside, whoa, look at me. What could be better, right? Well, then you wake up in the morning, where's your man? Suddenly you have to go. Okay, now we know. Till now, we look at the white beard, the payas, all right, we know. Suddenly you have to go, where are you going? So the man is not right next to your tent. You ain't such goody two shoes as we thought you are. Right? It's like, Now the thing is, the concept of man is the Baruch Hu gave it for free. Nevertheless, how easy it comes is, a function of the tzidkes of every single person, the spiritual level of every person. The truth is that it's still today is like that. Rabbeinu once told a story about a person that came to town. He wanted to explain how parnasa comes about. So he said that there was a poor person that came, in those days, he came to a village, whatever it is. In this village, there was 2 wealthy people. One of them was very generous and hospitable, and it's no problem. The other one, not so much. So this poor guy came around and said, he went to the house of the rich person and says, listen, I'm very, very hungry. Can you give me something to eat? Now, he didn't realize he went to the house of the miser. The guy says, no problem. Here, you see in my yard, I have these logs of wood. You can't put these in the to burn up for the winter. You can't keep the stove hot. So you need to chop. And we've been to Ukraine many times. They have these sheds, and they put pieces of chunks of wood in there. You can't even put a toothpick in between them. It's so jam packed. It's like not to waste any space. So you just chop the wood for me. I put it this and then I'll give it to eat. You'll eat kiyad melech like a king. Okay. So he works all day. And then he comes to this guy and he says, you promised me food. Where's the food? So the guy tells him, no problem. He says, just go over there. Just go there. Tell them that you want to eat. And they'll give you a suda like you never dreamed of. So he went over there and he told him that he wants to eat. And sit down, whatever it is. They gave him food, whatever. And he ate. Kenai Nahara. Sushi. Filter fish. Crane. Kugel. And then when he finished eating, he said, I can't recall ever eating a more well-deserved meal. So the people over there asked him, like, what are you talking about? What he didn't realize that the miser sent him to the house of the other rich guy. So he told him, what do you mean? I chop wood all day. So the guy's over there laughing and said, listen, you worked for nothing and you're eating for nothing. You work for free and you're eating for free. That's what the Rebbe says. You work for nothing and you eat for nothing. This is the Havana of we explained it once before. I don't want to hazard it again, but sure. In Rosh Hashanah, we said that the parnasa, that our role in life is to advertise and to express the greatness of Kadosh Baruch Hu and Kadosh Baruch Hu Melech over the entire existence. This is what we're created for. This is what we do on Rosh Hashanah. We are crowning the Melech. Now, we said that the person, that the schar the person gets is loss of love. Nobody knows what the schar is. We said the Kriyat Shema. We said if you'll do what Kadosh Baruch Hu wants you to do, that will get you. The rain will come in time, and the wheat will grow in time, and you can get the oil will grow properly, and the grapes will grow. Everything will be fine. So I wasn't going to. This is what nobody stays here forever. So what kind of a schar is it? If you love a Kadosh Baruch Hu with all your heart, you do everything else, what are you going to? You get a piece of cake. How long is it going to last? Okay, whatever. Okay, you get cake, eat cake every day. What's it? The Maisa is, we're living for 120 years, then we're leaving the world. So what good is coming? The rain will keep on coming. It doesn't last. The answer is that, and the Rambam says that. That's because they asked the Rambam, why isn't Olam Haba mentioned in the Torah? The Ramazim, the hints for Olam Haba. But it's not mentioned before. If you do what I tell you, you get Olam Haba. It doesn't say that in the Torah. The reason why it doesn't say it in the Torah is because the schar is it's like a person, we said, like a person working for somebody is a salesman. Okay? It all depends what kind of salesman. It's the salary you get, no matter what. But the point is now you need the tools to make the sales. At least you need to have a phone, right? Some has to have a car, to drive over to show customers samples, whatever it is. And some have to entertain big clients. So, they need a fancy car. They need, an expense account and maybe golf clubs for taking the big clients to play golf. And, just it all depends what kind of a salesman you are. The more sales you bring in, the more expense account you get. Explains that everything that you get in this world, the rain, the bread and the wine and the oil, this is just the expense account. Because you come to this world, what's your job? Your job is to sell HaKadosh Baruch Hu to reality, to the entire world. So for this, you need tools. As much as sales as you bring in, this is much, expense account. You get the salary, you get salary. It doesn't matter. Salary, the minute you're employed, you get a salary. So this is Rosh Hashanah. This is why it says that Parnasa is the term for each one of Rosh Hashanah. Why Rosh Hashanah is a celebration of the crowning of Kadosh Baruch Hu. That's the reason why we exist. Kadosh Baruch Hu looks at each one deeds, on the deeds of every single person. What is he looking at? How much sales did you make last year? How well did you express the rulership, authorship, and authority of Kadosh Baruch Hu in this world? You brought a lot. Okay, then we'll give you a lot. Because you need an expense account. You need to play golf. You need a private jet, to fly, all the big spenders, whatever it is, and to make big sales. If not, then each one according to Dafka Rosh Hashanah. This is when, the Yadayim from the Makifin come to the Chochmah. This is when how much, your sales chart for the previous month is measured. And according to this, it's determined, what's your status for the next year, what you're going to get. Then you got to do, and when you do, you get. You make ishtadlus, then you get the parnasa. The Zedor says afterwards, kulam elecha yisaberu. Everybody's looking at on about the man. Everybody's eyes is turned to you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. To give them their food at its proper time. I've said, I don't know how many times, the proper time is a buzzword for the time when the makifim come in. That's where the main pleasure comes in. Everybody is looking up and waiting for parnasa. The Malchus Malaket or Mekabetz Kola Ela B'tchoines. The Malchus is not just a receiver. It also brings up whatever needs to be brought up from this world in order to receive a parnasa. And it says the Malchus is picking out and putting together all the trusts that people trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu to give him parnasa. So Kol Be'olam. Everybody is waiting and looking for and yearning for parnasa. And with these wishes, this trust of all the people in the world, the malchus goes up and mekabel parnasa from the hands. This is how it works. In other words, it's not just a one-sided process. Parnasa comes from above. It trickles down. Parnasa gets it. Thank you very much. I'm just signing the receipts. Okay, who's next? Who gets Parnasa? Go ahead. Thing is that there is a correlation between the receiver and the giver. The receiver, which is the malchus, has to come up and receive the Parnasa. What does it bring? What does the malchus bring? In order to see, it has to bring an empty basket, right? It has to bring a truck, whatever. It has to bring a receptacle with which to receive the parnasa. What's the receptacle of parnasa? From the rotzin. A rotzin to receive, the will to receive, the trust in the Kadosh Baruch Hu that He will give me. It is very much like the relationship between a husband and a wife. The wife is looking at her husband to give her parnasa. She trusts him. And the husband gives her. Sometimes, as we know, she needs to push him a little bit. Maybe more than a little bit. Mhm. Sometimes I get up, go on. But nevertheless, it's a two-way process, especially when it comes, to closeness and intimacy. That the Makabel, the Nekeva has to come out with the Shtoikikus, to Zohar. This is how they come together. The idea is through these trusts. Shekulam is that everybody is looking up to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Mistaken על הפרנסה, וזה נמשך פרנסה למלכוס through his hands. וזה לתת לכולם בעיתוי, דווקא בעיתוי. And we say that at its time, because when that time is, Makifim come in. This is when the Rotzen shines. שנסגר בתוך הפרנסה, שבחינת כעס ימי ליעקב, מה הפעולקל. We said the magical moment is Ko'es, the Itoi, the all of proper time. That's the time. That's the time when the Herosarotzen shines. That's it. Now this is thing that is alluding to the saga of Machamita, Mapishpashta. This is the illumination of the Rotzen. You still don't know anything, but you want. When the Ratzon comes in a person, when you eat properly, what do you want? I don't know. I just want. What? Yeah, that's what you want. The what? What? Pchinasma. This is Yama Chochma. What have you? What do you achieve? What do you started? In other words, you're looking for Ein Sof. You're looking for infinity. You're looking for the Makifin. I haven't started yet. Yeah, I ate. Oh, you're already hungry? You ate yesterday. Yeah, that was yesterday. Today I haven't started to eat yet. The same thing as you're looking for Ma. What are you looking for, Kodesh Baruch Hu? Because you're Pchinas Ma. You're looking for Ma. You're looking for, I need Parnas. I need to have but you got already yesterday. Yeah, but yesterday. Today's today. Today I'm empty. I haven't started yet. This is Saga of Pchinas Ma. This is the illumination of the Rotzen. The Koes is alluding to the flashing of the Rotzen. The Itoi is alluding to that. When people come to you with a quest for Ma, you want, you need, who is the one to give to your Kodesh Baruch Hu? But the result is, and you give them their sustenance at its time. So we see the Itoi comes again. That point in time comes again. That is time after the Achila, the time of your eating, that's the time for the Ratzon to shine again. You open up your hands, you say, everybody is looking for you, everybody trusts you, you give them their sustenance at its time. Makifim come in, you open up your hands. That's the Yama Chochma, Rechav Yadayim of wide-handed, and you satiate, you supply sufficiently to each one, the Chol Chai Rotzon. You give them the Rotzon. They feed on the original manna, which is a supernal Rotzon. Ultimately, our fuel is Rotzon. Physically, spiritually, emotionally, the driving force is always Rotzon, always the will. Cognitive will, subconscious will. That's the thing that drives the entire ship forward. And this is what's said about Am Yisrael. It's not in there. This says in the future, not with their sword they'll conquer the land, and it's not their might that will save them. Ki mincha uzuacha ve'or panecha kiritzitam. But it is your right hand and your left hand. This is your mighty hand. Ve'or panecha, and the light of your countenance. Kiritzisam. This is in Tehillim, because you wanted them. What it's alluded to is as follows: Yemincha v'zroecha, your right hand and your mighty hand. Ze b'chinas hayadayim. That's the hands and the Yama Chochma that we spoke about. This is the thing that reveals the aura of the Makifin. That's the revelation, that's the shining of the glimmering of the Ratzin. The shine, the countenance of the shine, the light of your countenance, because you wanted them, because you favored them. The Makifin itself represents the aura panim, the light of the panim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu as the aura, because they come to the highest level there is, which is called or panim, the light of Pnei Hashem, the face of Hashem as it were. They kiritzisam because you wanted them, you favored them. They say Ara Sarotzi. This is when it says Asher Shamalkech ben Chorin. Happy you are, fortunate you are a land, Shamalkech, that your melech is a ben chorin, is free to decide, what's good for everybody, is not following, what is politically expedient at the moment. If the melech is proper, the melech is working properly, the malach is working properly, it received everything the way it's supposed to. Be'ez Yochelu means the Cherus of Pchinas Yovel, that where the Melech is Ben Chorin, and the Ram says it alludes to the fact that Cherus of Pchinas Yovel, and what happens in Yovel? Yovel is all the slaves go free. So the Malchut Pchinas Sphere of Bina. This is the Cherus comes from the Bina. Yovel is the Sphere of Bina. So we said Asher Eretz Shamalkach Ben Chorin. The Melech, where does the Melech come? Where does the Malchus get it from? From Ben Chorin. In the Bina, the Malchus receives Yamalach, the wide sea, wide-handed sea, the Yadayim HaChochmah receives from the Makifin. Okay? Now, what makes that work? The Yadayim HaChochmah to bring it in. Under the Chochmah, there's Bina. Bina is Heoras Ben v'Talmid together. Bino is Ben Yud K, right? The letters of Bino is Ben Yud K. Is the son of Yud K. That's the Bino. That's the combination of Lev, Ben, and Talmid that is the magnetic thing that pulls down the Parnasa from the Makifin. We said when the Chacham, shows those who are very high, they haven't started, or Ma, and he shows those who are very low. Those of Melok, which fills the earth, is with you, is by you. That is the thing that causes the new Makifin to come in. That's the Bino. That combining of Ben and Talmid together that the Chacham does, shows the big ones, shows the low ones, what each one needs to see. That's the thing that brings the Chachma down from the Makifin in. Ki banecha ze b'chinas and I'm sorry, what is the time? Ki Yovel, which says that's a sphere Sabino, is oisius v'chol banecha limudei Hashem. When we say Rosh Tevis, which means that the acronym is that every single letter, is represented by the words of the pasuk, or in an orderly fashion. However, when we say something is the oisius of this, it means that the letters that comprise that word exists in this pasuk, but not in their regular order. So we said, "V'chol banecha limudei Hashem," and all your sons are the students of Hashem. You see combination: sons, student, right? Chol banecha limudei Hashem. The first letter of each word makes the word Yovel. Yovel is the Bina. This is Malchus ben Chorin in the Bina. Okay, then. Ein klal is ben v'talmid. Ki banecha ze ben, limud Hashem is talmidim, as we said. Sheklal is ben v'talmid, the combination of son and student together, shu b'chinas yovel, that's the yovel, that's the bina, that's the cherus, misha mekabel ha-malchus ha-parnasa. This is where the malchus receives the parnasa. The malchus receives parnasa from the hints in the Yam HaChochmah. The Chacham hints to his Talmidim. He tells them, he hints to them things that he does not say explicitly to them. When the Chacham hints to his Talmidim, He is doing together the combination of Ben and Talmud together. That's the time when he does that. Now, though he shows the Ben a little bit from the Asog of a Talmud, don't rush. You haven't started even yet. Okay? But it's a show Kodesh Baruch Hu is with you. Both stuff together. And he shows the Talmud a little bit from the Asog of a Ben. You haven't started yet also. Go ahead and happy, fortunate you are a land that your melech is a ben chorin. Shamalchus ritzimekal panosa min achirus. Malchus receive panosa from the bina. Pchinas yovel kanal. V'sarach bet yochelu. Kaet. Pchinas is galas. This is when the rotzon is being kaes. The rotzon is revealed. That is real when the time of eating. This is when it happens. It's a kaes yamel Yaakov ma'apal kel. And now we'll reach a level that the Malachim themselves will have to ask Am Yisrael, what did HaKadosh Baruch Hu do? This is Pchinas Ma, as we said before. Let me see how much we have for the, okay, just finish this. Pchinas and Mesichim Basuda. You see, it's a technical, sensible rule. Don't speak while you're eating. Because, you're breathing and you're, if Chas v'Chalila is talking, you eat at the same time, the food can go Chas v'Chalila in the wrong pipe. But it hints to a much higher bechino. Ki ad b'shat ha'suda, dafka at the time of the suda, the rotzon, the supernal rotzon shine. B'chinas ha'aretz ha'makifin, shem b'chinas shtiko. The makifin, we said before, because Baruch Hu to Moshe Rabbeinu, shtark, be quiet. Kach ol b'machshava. This is a makif. Don't mention it. For ed mesichin b'suda, who don't talk during the suda, don't talk is makifin. Shtika, shtark, kach ol b'machshava. This is beyond talking. And mesichin b'suda, in the suda, there is an illumination of shtark, of beyond speech, of beyond time. That's sort of a makifin. China shtark, kach ol b'machshava. So we said before, the Chochem sometimes has to be quiet and not reveal things to the Talmidim, so you won't cause makifin. You will come in prematurely that you should be massing. Things which are beyond time, that there's no time in the world, not in what was and not in what will be. Enough time to explain these makifin. These makifin should not go in. So the Chochem has to be careful. How does he get these makifin? He reveals to the Talmidim. Then makifin come to him. So he has to be careful what to reveal, what not to reveal, to control, the intake, to make sure that it doesn't go supersound, into the intake of the jet. The makifin that, from beyond time won't come in. So he hints these things to the Talmidim just in Ramazim. In the Ramazim, he's talking about the makifin that he was zecher to be masim. The Ramazim of the Chacham is shtika, is en mesichim asuda. Those are prin machamita mapishmashta. He has to be quiet, so he does not masik beyond that. There's Ramazim pchinas yadayim, the yadayim, parnasa kansa the malchus, and this is dafka in the time of the Suda, it shines. The very kernel that drives the whole process, that's during the entire process, this is, which is shtika, this is makif and shtika, then it's revealed. How it's revealed? You come up, you feel immense ishtoikekus, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, during time of eating. It is said about the Chorin Rov, Reb Nachman of Chorin. He was the grandson. He was the grandson of the Baron Rov of Breslov. The Rebbe brought him to be the Rov of Breslov. So his son was the Rav of Breslov, and his son, Rav Nachman Choriner, the Choriner Rav, he was the Rav of Breslov. He was a huge, great person. All the Yoras Hashanah and all the Oitzer HaChochma that he wrote. He wrote foreign Lashon Chasidim, Mishnah Chasidim, that he basically summarized all the Torah of Talmid Baal Shem in one volume and encyclopedized them according to subjects, achilo, sheno, the whole thing. And then there's Loshe Hasidim and nothing. I'm not sure the name of the second one is all Talmidim of the Magid. All these Talmidim combined is in one sefer. Same thing. He took. The Rebbe says that with every Torah, if you go through the entire Torah, so he took, the Ian of Shabbos. I think one Torah is Nachas HaShulchan. You go through the entire Shulchan Aruch according to one Torah of Likutey Moharan. It's Zimus Haaretz, where Eretz Yisrael has to do with the entire Torah of Rabbeinu. The Shabbos, the preciousness. Zimus Haaretz. Yeah. Yeah, Chorin Rov. So the Chorin Rov once sent the Bavrom Sternhaus, the Tzaddik Livracha. He was the son of, he was his grandson. The Chorin Rov had a daughter that married the grandson of Reb Nosson. So Rav Shalmatz is a grandson of Reb Nosson. He was very chosh about the Chorin of his grandfather. So he sent him to Avram Dov Berenu. That was the grandson of Rabbeinu. Was a tremendous Elachayid. He said, go eat by his house. Be a guest by his house. When he came back, he asked him, so what did you see? He said, I saw him sitting by the plate, and before every spoonful he took, his hands after the Shemai. The tremendous ritzonos. So that's what I wanted you to see. This is how you should eat. Such kashrus, such tzidkis, that the ritzonos will show to you.
What type of Shabbos would we have?
Just eat b'kedusha. Eat kosher food. Make the brachos properly. Eat, to Mekayim Yeguf. Just eat properly. It comes automatically. You don't have to have any. You don't need that. The opposite. Mimas pshitas. Eat the way you're supposed to eat. It'll come. It doesn't come in a invitation like make kavonas, make like a meditation. It doesn't work like that. Just eat l'shem shemayim. Eat what you need. Eat with derech eretz. Eat whatever it is that's necessary. Don't eat when it's not necessary. Eat not because they said that Nosson Stalin, the Reb Nachal Tulchina, the Reb Nachman's, is his son. So he said, Reb Nachman's his son, the Bura Likutey, he said he has never seen his father salt his food. That Tavis Achille, that's something. Rabbeinu says Tavis Achille, it doesn't mean just to eat a lot. It means if you want it to be gourmet, Kitzur. Yeah. Eating popcorn without salt. Can you imagine that? Or drinking tea without sugar. There's so many inyonim to daven for in this Torah. To come to such a tzaddik that can show those who are of great stature that haven't even started, and those like me who are in the earth that haven't even started, that because Baruch Hu is with them. You're laughing. I know you're laughing because it's what you think. No, you're laughing because you think that, he's probably, when he goes out of here, just has a lias neshama. His neshama goes up and he goes to Mashiach and he speaks with. I don't want to tell you what it is that's going in my mind. I assure you that you won't come to the shurim anymore if you did. And well, I know that you don't believe that. Don't ask, don't tell. Exactly right. But anyhow, that's one thing to daven for. Second thing to daven for is to eat properly, not to overeat, not to undereat. To eat with derech eretz. Eat, what Dr. Nanda calls mindful eating. Why are you eating? Are you eating what's good for you? What's not good for you? And beyond everything is asking for rotzing. Because I tell you, when you are asking for rotzing, I saw something amazing from Shalom Arush. And he said, whatever, we spoke about it once before, whatever midah you have a problem with, take half an hour a day and ask for that thing specifically. Okay, so let's say I'm getting angry, right? Chas v'chalila, getting angry. Rebbe says in Torah Yudches, if you quell it, then the tzaddik gets the authority and v'chule. Okay, so how long can you say, help me not to get angry, not to lose my temper? "10 seconds, 20 seconds. How much can you say about it? Half an hour? What are you going to do for a whole half an hour? The answer is, you're going to repeat it. But Kodesh Baruch Hu is not going to get bored. No, Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't get bored. You'll get bored. Kodesh Baruch Hu doesn't get bored. Ask Kodesh Baruch Hu, you have had a meeting, a person has a roving eye, chas v'chalila, ask for that. Half an hour. If you get more words to explain why and this and that and how much you really want it, and look, there's in Olam Haba, there are no excuses. That's you bring what you bring and that's it. So there is a lot to talk about. But the thing is that when you sit to make his way to this, it's first of all there's a certain crust has to be broken. Your head is still outside. Your head is still in this world. And you're like, what am I doing here exactly? What am I talking to? Am I really talking to Hashem? It doesn't feel like it. All these kind of thoughts, they're wrong. Don't worry about it. Like, you're talking to a cell phone, right? You're talking to somebody. What happens if the call was disconnected? You can talk for another half an hour. There's nobody there, right? And you are all for hits. I can't believe you did this to me. Hello? There's nobody there. This is exactly the opposite. It doesn't matter whether you feel like you're talking to Hashem, or whether you feel like Hashem is listening to you, or whether you feel that you're into it, or whether you don't feel it. It doesn't matter. Whatever you say, Kodesh Baruch Hu, you're supposed to control what you think. Kodesh Baruch Hu listens to what you think, but doesn't listen to what you say. Just talk. And if you don't have what to say, just repeat it. And if you see it, just wait a little bit, ask Kodesh Baruch Hu to give you words, and repeat it again, and repeat it again, repeat it again. Ask for rotzing. Ask for reasons, take care of things. Wake up, there's no time to waste. It works. I'm telling you, it works. It works. They say in 12 steps, right? They say, it works if you work it, right? If you work it, half an hour every day, whatever, 20 minutes, whatever you can, just do it. Just do it. Pick whatever it is that is, now it's 3 weeks. 3 weeks is a very auspicious time to feel the Shechina, feel whatever is needed. Baruch should help us without Hashem. Without Hashem to see the Bina Besamigdash without Hashem soon in our days. Good times are coming without Hashem. Kol Tov, Tzlocha.